It worked. We got water. Back in for another one right here at the farm pond, and I haven't checked in here for a while because we don't have any rain, and we've not had rain for a minute, but we've got one last tropical storm coming, and we're going to try to capture as much of that rain as possible because all the millet has long since dried out. All the smartweed has also dried out with the frost, so we've got a lot of food in here. We just need more water. The ultimate problem is there's a berm that runs here, and there's a swale that comes in that should feed into this pond to fill it, but the fella actually bermed this up to kick the water around the pond because he said the watershed is too big. Well, now when we need water, we don't get any water. So what we're going to try to do is, there's a bottleneck right here. I'm going to try to put some obstructions in that bottleneck, and I may carve out the slightest trench across here to try to bring that water into here. It's going to be a lot of work for a bad back, but it will be worth it if we can get some water in the pond. And there we go. About wore me out, but I have carved about an 8 to 10 inch deep trench rather, right to where this stream comes in. It makes the 90. So I'm hoping with this hurricane tropical storm coming, the rainfall will be heavy enough where that flow comes right down. Instead of making the turn like it normally does, they go ahead and come across this trench here into this upper end of the millet pond. A lot of work, and hand digging's tough, but we're late in the fourth quarter here. We got a lot of food. I need some water, so it's worth it. If we even get one hunt out of this, I will be happy, because right now there are no ducks, no water. If you've watched the earlier videos, you know I talk a lot about timing, and timing being critical. Here's why. Duck season started 5 days ago, and the songbirds have stripped almost all the millet off. Now, I'm sure there's a lot on the ground, and there is, I can see it down there, but there are very few actual seeds left standing on the millet. Should be plenty on the ground, but we're 5 days into duck season, and we're almost all out of millet already, and we hadn't even hunted the pond nor been able to put water on it. All the smartweed in here has also gone dormant and died off with the frost, but it still has a tremendous amount of seed. So that's good news. That's all smartweed seed. So that's good. That just is drying out and starting to fall on the ground. So even though a lot of our millet is gone, we still got a bunch of smartweed. Down here towards the deeper end, you can see how much smartweed came in and saved the day, because for whatever reason, some of these areas just did not grow the millet, but it did volunteer in a ton of smartweed, which is fantastic. So all the bright green you see is Japanese millet that self-seeded itself after our first frost. We've not had a frost in about a week and a half now, and with the 70, 80 degree temperatures, the millet reseeded itself. Now that will not go to seed and do anything for this year, but it just tells you how much seed was in here, but now it's actually sprouted, which is not good for the ducks. Out here on the eve of another tropical depression, they're calling for about 2 inches maybe, but they said there could be periods of heavy downpours. That's what we need. We need runoff, because that really light soaking rain from the first hurricane didn't do us any good. We need heavy downpours. So I'm hoping with the trench I put in up there and this ground already being somewhat pre-soaked, the second it starts raining, I hope we can get some water in this pond and salvage the season out here, because right now, again, no water, no ducks. That's going to wrap this one up. We'll go ahead and roll into the next segment, which, fingers crossed, we'll have some rain, we'll have some water in the pond. We'll catch you in a second. It worked. We got water. The effort paid off. Let's go take a look at that ditch I dug and see if that's truly what conveyed the water in here, or if this is what came from the heavens. But I couldn't be happier. We got a lot of water, and it's all up in the millet and smartweed. As the landowner said, it's looking ducky. Little better perspective to show you how much water's in here. It was bone dry last time we were out here, and we've got water all the way into the head section in this millet and water all in the Smartweed. I am very happy. We practically have a 1 acre impoundment here. We have water on millet, water on Smartweed. It may not have seemed like much, but it definitely worked. You can see where all the pea stone, gravel, and debris washed through here. And I think that channel was just enough. Oh yeah, you can see a flow line in there. That channel was just enough that when this water level got up, it was able to jump right into that channel cut and fill our pond. So I'm so glad I did that. That might have saved this whole project. Because this swale, he said this swale that runs all the way up to the woods gets a lot of water during heavy rain. And if we could just slow the water down, which we did, we blocked it down here, that we could probably get it to jump this berm. So we slowed the water down. We dug about an 10 inch deep trench, and it worked. We kicked just enough water into this pond to put enough water on this millet. This may seem redneck and rudimentary. We put a fence up, we put a bunch of debris in the bottom, and then that was just enough to try this in here to stop the flow of water and create a backwater condition that allowed the water to jump into that little swale we cut. And if that big fence didn't work, I came down below it and put a secondary, just a roll of wire here and put a bunch of debris up against it. And again, that was just enough to back up the water so we could jump it over the berm into the pond. Hard work, a little bit of planning, pays off. Probably gonna be the last update video for the farm pond millet planting. Hopefully we get a duck hunt out of this year, and that'll be our next video, is coming here and killing some wood ducks, maybe some mixed puddlers, who knows what may show up. But that's gonna wrap up the farm pond millet series, where we drained the farm pond, planted it in millet, and then did whatever we had to do to reflood it. And we've got water on it December 1st. So it's gonna sit with water on it for 2 weeks before the next split comes in. Fingers crossed, the ducks find it. But until next time, as always, thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.